What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing, back with a gem. I want to come on today and address the situation between Bernard the Executioner Hopkins and father of undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney and Bill Haney. As you guys know, I did a video last week about Bill Haney disrespecting the legendary Bernard Hopkins and saying things such as Bernard is basically not a good man, and Devin's a better fighter and man than him, and he called him Django and Uncle Tom and the greeter at Golden Boy and all these other insults that were unnecessary and I think untrue, uncalled for. But I saw the Spit Bucket podcast. Shout out to the Spit Bucket podcast. Did an interview with Bernard Hopkins, and he was able to address, amongst many other things, the comments made about him by Bill Haney. And he did not mince his words. He wasn't uncouth or ignorant and classless the way I think the comments of Bill Haney that was made about him were, but he definitely did not mince words. He spoke to him being called Uncle Tom, and he said, listen, or not having any real position at Golden Boy or any signing power. He said he's responsible for at least 24 fighters being signed at Golden Boy. He also said Golden Boy has never told him no or questioned anybody he wanted to bring in. But he said, it's a business, and he doesn't bring people in just based on color. He brings people in that he feels like is going to benefit the business, which is smart for him to do, being that he's a part of the business. He spoke to being the reason Gabe Rosado signed with Golden Boy and giving him an opportunity. He speaks to, Blair Cobbs, and he said there's several others that he don't need to brag about that he's brought over there. So he kind of quelled that myth. As far as when he said Devin's a better fighter than him, I think he handled that very well too when he said, listen, there's nobody nowhere that's going to question my resume. He's pretty secure in what he's done in the sport of boxing and his background, where he says he doesn't brag about, his time in the streets or in Graterford prison, but, there's nobody that can question the things he's overcame and the things he's done in his illustrious career, both in and outside of the ring. He went on to also say that boxing's a small community and that him and Bill Haney will eventually cross paths, and he wants Bill to keep that same energy. That lets me know he's not playing. And he said, listen, there will be no picture taken, no handshaking, no hugs. He wants Bernard wants Bill to stand on those things he said about him. And I get it, because, you not only question this man as a professional, but you question him personally. And most men would not be cool with that. And he went as far as to calling Bill a cat, a lame, and pretty much every other derogatory term you can call him. He doesn't feel real strongly about Bill. He also said Bill's jealous, and he said, outside of your son, what have you accomplished, Bill? What have you done? You want to shit on what I've done. What have you done? And he said, if you're saying this trainer, then your son is not going to be world champion much longer because he doesn't view Bill as a very good trainer. That's a whole nother argument, but I'd like to have an opportunity to sit down with Bernard, because I agree with him. I think it was classless things that Bill Haney said about him. And evidently, he took exception to the things that was said, his legacy being questioned, who he is and his character as a man being questioned. And as I said, he said, Bill Haney, be prepared to stand on what you said. Keep that energy the same when I see you. And he also said if he doesn't keep the same energy, I will be sure to make sure everyone knows that he didn't keep the same energy. So shout out to B-Hop. I think, we've reached a point where people think they can say whatever they want to say about people and there are no consequences. Well, some people are going to see you and make you stand on what you said. Now, I do believe in, when you're talking about professionals and, you're in media, you should be able to give your educated opinion on people professionally, but it shouldn't be personal. And I think Bill crossed the line. It was personal. And Bernard responded. What's going to happen next, we shall see. But Bernard didn't look like he was playing when he said he expected Bill to keep that same energy. He also showed class when they asked would the statements that Bill made affect business between potential fights involving Devin Haney and Golden Boy fighters. And he said, no, there's no problem with the fighter, and he wouldn't let it get in the way with business. But again, he is going to make Bill stand on the things that he said. He also called Devin the undisputed champ by default. And, I don't want to take away from Devin being undisputed champ, but I will say, as I said in the video when I talked about this before, he didn't become undisputed the same way Bernard became undisputed. Bernard had to go through a middleweight tournament where he faced a couple Hall of Famers to become undisputed. And to say that Devin is better than Bernard, I mean, Bernard has fought, I think, something like 16, 17 world champions, had 20 title defenses in the first ballot Hall of Famer. I love Devin Haney as a young fighter, but he's got a long way to go. He's no Bernard Hopkins. And like I said, I'm just glad Bernard went on the Spit Bucket podcast and spoke his truth and defended himself. I look forward to seeing what the next development it is with regards to this. Until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, your ass off the floor. Peace.